soil enhancement material. Mr. Speaker, they don't know how scientific. I don't know. I have to call the public relations people up there. You have a media unit up there. I have to call them and tell them that we maybe have to get skinny to sing a few things about what is happening up there. You know, because now the pesticide disposable pits and fruit quality kits. 270 farmers received pesticide disposable pits, while 230 farmers received fruit quality kits. Soil enhancement, 26 containers of dolomitic limestone and calcium ammonium nitrate were distributed to over 500 banana farmers to help them with the soil. Yes. Soil enhancement materials for fruits and vegetables. Farm implements. Well, if the banana farmers don't use it, you know, other farmers would use it. Well, you know, I will tell you this. Mr. Speaker. My experience in the distribution of these things. You think politicians get involved in these things? You will more likely find somebody down the chain who distributing. Me give a friend. You see, because you want to sit over here, you go say anything. But the point, I am telling you what is happening. Eh? Mr. Speaker, the farm implements for fruits and vegetables, fisheries laboratory equipment and supplies, lab equipment and supplies for Bureau of Standards, water tanks, pedigree livestock, 30 black belly sheep were delivered to the ministry. They are housed at the Belmont Livestock Breeding and Multiplication Center. 18 pigs, 70 goats, and the goats are Anglo, Nubian and Boer. They were delivered to the Ministry of Agriculture. They are at the Raboka Livestock Breeding and Multiplication Center. Mr. Speaker, there's something which we're doing, which a number of people don't know about. We have a program for animal identification. Supplies were delivered to the Ministry of Agriculture to include tags for pigs, cattle, sheep, donkey, and tag applicators, knife tag removers, laser air tagging, tag making machinery, and battery operated tattoo kit. You know the reason for that? You tag your animal, make it more difficult for a man to thief it. Yes. you know what's happening? You know what's happening? ICT and GPS equipment, Mr. Speaker, and so on and so forth. I think I've demonstrated enough to see what we are doing there. To support, Mr. Speaker, then the OECS Regional Agricultural Competitive Project. Then in the Ministry of Transport and Works, they have 75 million with 35 projects. The 11th EDF feeder road project, upgrading of, realigning and upgrading feeder roads and so on. Mr. Speaker, the main activities include strengthening institutional capacity, strengthen the road maintenance program, realign and upgrade 6 kilometers of existing village and feeder roads, conduct training in high-level labor-intensive methods of strengthening medium and small-sized contractors. Mr. Speaker, Arnesville City. We have inside of the budget 1.35 million. The purpose of this phase of the project is to prepare master plan and urban designs that aim for the development of a modern city in Arnesville on 133 acres of land. It will facilitate sustainable investment that will provide significant social and economic benefits and complement our investment in the airport. In 2019, the following activities, preliminary activities we're focusing on. Consultancy for producing a master plan and urban designs. Pre-contract services to provide approved construction drawings. Bills of quantities and technical specification for all land-based infrastructural works in accordance with acceptable international design standards and engineering code of practices. Hopefully, by the third quarter of next year, we will have this layout and this plan and to put it up and to show everybody. And an anchor for that is the acute referral hospital, which I'll talk about shortly. Mr. Speaker, the public access village enhancement, $5 million project, US, but about $5 million EC will be spent this year. This will be a project much larger than the old one which was done under the basic needs project, where some useful work was done under that project, under the NDP administration. Mr. Speaker, there's a $6 million this year for upgrading the school premises. Mr. Speaker, let me explain this. When we came to office in 2001, I got $5 million very swiftly from the European Union to do the repairs over the summer. All the schools, primary and secondary. And every year since then, $1 million, $1.5 million, up to $500,000 for furniture. But look, it's thousands of children who use them. A lot of wear and tear on the doors, the use of the furniture, the toilets, and so on and so forth. The time has come for another big mass repair. And in addition to that, I personally, not through a bureaucrat, I called the president of the CDB, tell him what we are doing there, but I say I have some schools which need far more substantive work. Grammar school, high school, couple of others across the country, where you don't just do the repairs. Well, that will be done outside of that project. That's a separate program. And I said to the president, you have to send people right away to me. And they came. And a project is being worked out. I heard that the Minister of Education said $6 million there. But I've gotten them to go up to $10 million and maybe more. Because, so I want this school repairs to be done with the $6 million this year from the IDA funds. Incidentally, you know, when I was spending all the time last year in December doing a lot of things, is to put my copybook in place to get the IDA funds. You know, the Minister of Finance tells me we may get even up to 26, 25 million by June. Well, I didn't want to say 32 because if I say 32, I know the Minister of I want the Minister of Transport and everybody at work, so I come to the extra part because there are other things to be done. Some other things. $1 million US what? Huh? Which million US? Man, listen, I would advise you as an old geography teacher, stick to weather changes. Stick to precipitation. Listen, you're my friend, but you're the only man I ever hear, I had to go read up on it, who said that precipitation in the Caribbean, in St. Vincent, rising temperature, that is the issue of the change. And apparently that... Wait now, that concerns you more? What about the melting of the ice cap and the rising sea levels and the warming of the seas? You think St. Vincent's an island unto itself? I heard you with your geography lesson yesterday. I'm glad I wasn't in your class, because if so I would have failed the geography exam. I'd have failed the geography exam if I listened to you.
You ever hear about snow in the Caribbean? Ice cap in the Caribbean?
Wait. So the snow, the melting...
I don't remember, please continue.
The melting of the snow.
I don't think that... No, but...
Oh, Heavenly Father.
That should not be engaged.
Yeah. I'm obliged, Mr. Speaker. I really sorry that I tease you there. I'm sorry that I tease you there.
Honorable Prime Minister, let's proceed.
I'm proceeding, Mr. Speaker. The Fort Charlotte Bridge. Long time. Mr. Speaker, National Disaster Management Risk Reduction and Climate Change Adaptation. $6 million this year involves a CDB grant and a CDB loan. The activities this year, Mr. Speaker, will include upgrade of roads, Gokul Road and Langley Park Estate Road, Mesopotamia Road, Maroon Hill to Hopewell, reconstruction of bridges, Union and Dixon Village, construction of river defenses at Yambu, Zenga and Union Bridge, consultancy services for establishing an operational monitoring and evaluation system, and the enhancement of national early warning system, engineering consultancy for detailed design, contract preparation and construction, protection works at Jennings Valley, Lady Jane Bridge and a section of the Perseverance Road. In 2019, specifically we will be doing the Union River defenses, the Union River Bridge, Dixon Village Bridge, Maroon Hill Road, and develop the early warning system. And then different programs are different things. North Windward Rehabilitation Program. Project is designed to rehabilitate damaged roads and bridges in Sandy Bay, London and Raboka because of the heavy rainfall in 2016. Mr. Speaker, feasibility study and detailed designs, rehabilitation works at London and New Sandy Bay, river training and embankment stabilization measures in Oya, Overland, Noel rivers, coastal zone defenses in Peruvian Vale, Yambu. These are areas which are badly affected. Mr. Speaker, then there is the big program for the construction of the secondary roads and village roads and feeder roads under the Kuwaiti and OFID loans. 22.7 kilometers of village roads and drains. Belair Village, Brighton, Salt Pond, Calder Main Road, Connery Estate, Enhams, Greg's Lomans, Wynwood, Montreal Gardens, Otley Hall, and Sayers Village. And that's for the Kuwaiti. For the OFID funding, 24.7 kilometers of feeder road. Antwine Mountain, Palmyra, Benjamin Bristol, Copeland Mountain, Airy Hill, Fair Hall, Far Macmillan, Gomez, Lauders Chapmans, Lamy Mountain, Maloney Mountain, Bohemia, Richland Park, Verivine Mountain. Then there's the clean-up Kingstown campaign, and I take it that the Honourable Member for Central Kingstown would work with the Minister of Works, retrofitting and upgrading the vacant customs warehouse at the Upper Bay Street to accommodate approximately 150 vendors, repair and retrofit the original meat market, and complete the temporary vegetable market that is obliquely opposite to the Kingstown Cenotaph to accommodate approximately 320 vendors. Mr. Speaker, I want to say this. Mr. Speaker, I want to say this.
Seriously, right in front of us, this Whitechapel Road, that section there up to the prison, I spoke to the Transport Minister about it.
But I'm sure Bragsa can do that.
Small thing.
Yeah, that could be done.
I'm putting parking.
Yeah, that could be done.
Wrong the building.
Mr. Speaker, I want to say this.
Serious.
When I went to Japan,
Yes.
when I went to Japan,
Where's the new Tani?
when I went to Japan, I raised with the Prime Minister personally, and he said, Prime Minister, I will send a team promptly. And he sent a team. I told him that we have a place in Kingstown which was honored by the name Tokyo. We call it Little Tokyo. I said, it's in such a condition that you would be ashamed that the word Tokyo is associated with it. We have to do something about it. He sent a team, so we're working on a project for Little Tokyo. Mr. Speaker, Vermont River Defense. Then you have the Natural Disaster Management Rehabilitation Reconstruction Project. This year, $9.5 million. Activities to be implemented include, these are rising from since December 2013, Marco Watershed and Windward Restoration, rehabilitation of 3.2 kilometers of feeder roads, River Defense Caratal and Yarabakwa River. Yarabakwa River is Bellevue River. Landslide risk assessment, slope stabilization and remedial work, North Windward Corridor, infrastructure rehabilitation at Overland and Roe. In this year, design construction of Gracefield Mountain, Yarabakwa River Defense and Caratal River Defense. Lots 1 and 2, we have some money there to pay some retention payments. Mr. Speaker, I'll show you some of the difficulties. You take Gracefield Mountain, which is where you leave 3 rivers to the back, to the side, the right-hand side of South Rivers as you're watching the mountain. That was assessed as just over $300,000, sorry, over $800,000. But because the project took so long, the gestation period, and nature ain't waiting on you.
Which nature?
The real nature. The climate change nature, not the weather event nature. That it's now cost over $3 million. That's the problem. Anyway, rehabilitation of the Mallorca Feeder Road, Langley Park River Basin rehabilitation. Some work to be done there. The rehabilitation of the VG Highway. We have $6 million do some work for the South Leeward Highway. And I'll tell you this, there's the Honourable Minister of Works has talked in detail about that and how we have preserved that money. Something to be done on the National Library, Customs and Excise Building, some things up at South Rivers, you know, at Old Road, which had been eaten away for some time. And the road going to the Three Rivers Tunnel really in a bad condition. And I wait my time too, you know. I wait my turn too. But the people always know they have confidence in the comrade. They know the comrade delivers. Mr. Speaker, in the Ministry of Health, things like the purchase of an incinerator, the purchase of air-conditioned units for the pharmacies and the health centers, very important project, capacity building project for the prevention and control of diabetes, $1.4 million, Taiwan and ourselves. Mr. Speaker, upgrading of health facilities.
Taiwan would build that for you.
In 2018,
I'll get Taiwan to build it for you.
we did Sandy Bay Clinic. This year we are doing Camden Park Clinic, Union Island Health Center and Rose Hall Nurses Quarters. Yeah. This year we have $615,000 in the budget. Yeah. Well, you see, you spend so much time on the weather, you forget this. Yeah, it's there. It's there. Upgrade of health facilities. Look at the notes. Yes. Improvement in private health care. Purchase of equipment. $1.6 million for equipment down at Milton Cato Memorial. Completing some stuff with the 10th EDF. One or two little things to be done at the modern medical. And the pride of my heart, the development of the geriatric services. Mr. Speaker, what? We're going to retrofit the old nurses' hostel, fix it up good, extend, provide temporary accommodation, put furniture and equipment, and what I indicated to the Minister of Works, I want us to put a good fence. I don't want people to look at the old people in the yard as though a good fence. I am not going to say which type of fence, but a fence where inquiring eyes don't peek through and so on and so forth. Privacy. And let our elderly persons live. There are 70-something of them at Lewis Burnett Home. And then, as soon as we do that, I'm on the road looking for money to build a fantastic facility on the site of Lewis Burnett. A new one. And then when we finish, we can use this down here for, I'm sorry that the building is not up at charge because we could have used it as a clinic. Mr. Speaker, refurbishing of Milton Cato Memorial. The Paho Smart healthcare facilities. This year, well, of course, we have done Georgetown and Chateaubelair. And this year we are doing work on Union Island Hospital and Myro Clinic. We're going to start to retrofit the Barley and Union Island Health Centers and the Myro and Georgetown clinics. And we're going to do rainwater harvesting and install solar panels in Beckway and at the Stubbs health facilities. Ministry of Housing. There are 7 projects there with $11.1 million, including at Green Hill and Clay Valley, low-income housing, building materials, purchase of land. Then Ministry of Tourism and Sports, Calico playing field. We have to improve the lighting there, the Sports Against Crime facility. Rehabilitation of Villa Boardwalk, the Joseph Chateau National Park facility, the Villa Beach facility, renovating Peace Memorial Hall, construction of the Cayo Village, some improvement for the Arnesville Sporting Complex, improvement of tourism sites, including the Cumberland Jetty, Nature Trail of Trinity, Cumberland, Vermont, La Soufrière Cross Country Trail, upgrading of the Visitor Center and Gazebos, trail at the Waliabu Heritage Park, do some things at Black Point Recreation and Heritage Park, upgrade to the Visitor Center in Darkview Falls, upgrade Belmont Lookout, then the Tourism and Private Sector Development Project, the Brighton Salt Pond Beach Facility, and the OECS Regional Tourism Competitiveness Project. Mr. Speaker, all those, I went through them so that honorable members will see that we ain't just talking the talk, we walk in it, we put the framework, and we're doing the thing. And the bulk of this, what I read out there, the bulk of these things we are dealing with, the bulk of them we are dealing with monies which we're getting from overseas. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I have two more hours.
Honorable Prime Minister, you have 1 hour and 2 minutes. You started at 3:15.
No. I started at 4. 4:20. The honourable member for North Leeward started at...
He started at 3:25.
He started at 3:25, 3:30.
You're right, yeah.
Yes. So I finished 2 hours.
2 hours.
Mr. Speaker, may I just make a few statements about some things before? Mr. Speaker, I just want to say something about BICO, because I know I looked at the time and some old people who may be going to 7 o'clock for TV, and they might be wanting to hear something about BICO. The original amounts to the St. Vincent and Grenadine policy holders, when BICO was placed in judicial management, the liability is $181.5 million. We have settled thus far $16.2 million from the transfer of the life insurance policy to Sagicor, $27.1 million from the Eastern Caribbean Government's Policyholders Assistance Initiative, and $12.1 million from the first distribution from the Plan of Arrangement. In all, therefore, we have settled $55.4 million of those liabilities. A further distribution from the Plan of Arrangement over the next few weeks, I've been advised by the judicial manager, will result in a further $7.5 million for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Various items of litigation are in progress, including the matter against Mr. Dupree in which the U.S. court awarded $120 million non-contestable judgment in favor of BICO. The courts in Trinidad and Tobago have recognized the judgment and late last year froze the assets in excess of $500 million TT to stop them from being sold outside of Trinidad and Tobago. The lawyers in Trinidad for the judicial manager pursuing these matters aggressively And the proceeds from all of this eventually will be distributed to the policyholders. Meanwhile, the case which the government through the insurance supervisor of insurance against RBTT for $145 million is winding its way through the courts of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In the case of Cwsa, I've asked the Honorable Minister of Finance through the Monetary Council to have somebody else, a technical person, to do some more aggressive work on the Cwsa matter with the government of Barbados. The technical person, that is. Mr. Speaker, just bear with me one moment, Mr. Speaker. Petrocaribe. Mr. Speaker, just in case that some persons don't get it yet about what happens there, I will explain again. Petrocaribe SVG Limited and PDVSA SVG Limited are the two companies operating in St. Vincent and Grenadines as a result of the Petrocaribe agreement signed in 2005. Petrocaribe SVG Limited, which operates the Special Purpose Fund through the Act of this Parliament of 2016, is at the moment not as active as in previous years. This is primarily because the funds are not forthcoming since the sanctions were placed on PDVSA by the USA. It should be noted that neither PDV, SVG nor Petrocaribe that we can actually send or receive monies through the Bank of America, the main bank of transfer for the US funds. PDV SVG Limited, a joint company in which the Venezuela PDV has 51% and we have 49%. The joint venture company that operates the storage and LPG filling plant, that's functioning normally. Since 2016, the sanctions started affecting our commercial transactions and we had to source the LPG from Trinidad. Presently, the LPG, our custom blend, diesel and gasoline are sourced from Sol, Eastern Caribbean Limited, chosen through a bidding process and paid for through their local office. The sanctions placed on PDVSA have affected the operations of Petrocaribe in St. Vincent and Grenadines, affected the special purpose vehicle immensely. Many projects and programs financed by the agreement had to be halted or reprogrammed. The Petrocaribe agreement outcomes have touched the lives of every Vincentian through a wide range of programs and projects financed by monies that were so generously loaned to us, 20-odd years at 1%. We have stated over and over the projects that have benefited from the monies from Petrocaribe. The accounts of Petrocaribe SVG Limited, the Special Purpose Fund from 2016, and PDV SVG Limited are audited by international auditors every year since 2009. Before that, it was an arrangement with Vinlec before Petrocaribe itself got going. All audits were done up to and including 2017. All of them are filed at SIPO up to 2015. The reports for 2016 and 2017 are in draft, and we have had the discussions with the auditors and are awaiting the printed final copies from the auditors. Mr. Speaker, the monies which came through to Petrocarib, including from the years with Vinlec, is $221.2 million, but you know we got 50% reduction, a debt relief. So it's just over $100 million. Mr. Speaker, sometimes I would just hope that the Honourable Leader of the Opposition will take up the phone and ask me something, and I'll answer him in this way. Because he said he wants to know about the auditing. I will tell you, on no entity is the Leader of the Opposition more interested in audits than the Prime Minister. I want to begin with a letter to the Director of Audit at the time, Ms. Delia Seeley, from Faye Ferguson, the manager of Petrocarib, dated the 17th of July, 2017. Mr. Speaker, remember this. So the audits which we are doing by ourselves are up to date to 2015. There are drafts for 2016 and 2017. We're waiting on the auditor. I myself had conversations with the auditor sometime last year. Dear Mrs. Seeley, subject, Petrocarib St. Vincent and Grenadines Audit 2016. It is with a deep sense of concern and obligation that I write to you regarding the caption, especially so since I read an article in the Eyewitness News dated the 6th of July 2017, which quoted the Leader of Opposition as saying, quote, she acknowledged that the Director of Audit under the Act, establishing fund, directly responsible for auditing the fund, but because of insufficient resources, she was able to say when an audit of the Petrocarib Development Fund would be done, unquote. Ms. Ferguson goes on to say this. I wish to remind you, she's writing the auditor, you know, Director of Audit, of Section 12.3 of the Petrocarib Special Purpose Fund Act, which states, quote, the accounts of the fund shall be audited in each financial year by the Director of Audit or by an auditor appointed by him. Hence, insufficient resources should not hamper the audit process for the Petrocarib St. Vincent and Grenadines Limited. Because if you say you don't have resources, do you have a staff of 37? I don't know which accounting firm in town, auditing firm, has such a large staff. Anyway, a separate issue. But if you don't have the resources, appoint an auditor under your watch, a private auditor. No, but Petrocarib is a company. Whoever audits it, Petrocarib will pay for it. I mean, it's elementary. As you may recall, Petrocarib St. Vincent and the Grenadines Limited and a team from the audit department, including you, met and discussed the process for auditing the company accounts for 2016. A list of documents was requested by you to be supplied by our offices. This was done as per attached. Your acknowledgement receipt on the 20th of June 2017. I do hope that you can use your good offices to enhance the process to complete the audit for 2016 in a timely and efficient manner that will complement all the previous audits that was done for the company. Then, months pass. Ms. Ferguson, the manager of Petrocarib, was at it again on the 13th of October 2017. You see, if you believe the narrative which you have constructed yourself, that we have something to hide, you will come to a conclusion that the government or Petrocarib stonewalling. I'm giving you the facts. 13th of October 2017. Dear Mrs. Seeley, Miss Seeley, Petrocarib St. Vincent and Grenadines Audit 2016. She's back at it. She didn't say who directed her, Miss Ferguson, but she said, I am directed to write you concerning the audit of Petrocarib St. Vincent and the Grenadines Limited for 2016. As you are aware, Petrocarib St. Vincent and Grenadines Limited has been doing yearly audits on a timely basis since its inception. The company is directly related to PDV SVG Limited in that they are in a joint venture. Hence, the audits are conducted simultaneously. Petrocarib SVG Limited, a wholly owned state entity, owns 49% of PDV SVG Limited. So it's brother and sister audit. The draft audit report for PDV SVG for 2016 is available. That's the one which they have to do, PDV. This is the first time we cannot say this for Petrocarib SVG Limited. This is not acceptable by our standards. Our standards in Petrocarib. Hence, what you say, what?
No, and the questions were raised. Yes, the letters from the lady at
To the director of audit?
No, the letters going to the director of audit.
Yes.
But all the fact when the questions were raised as to the accountability, those letters were never.
But I pointed out that the audit for 2015 is filed. It's at SIPO. We are waiting for 16 and 17. And I'm giving you the story for 16 and 17. The letter goes on of the 13th of October 2017. Hence, I am directed to inform your offices that the board of directors of Petrocarib has decided to commission an audit of the finances of Petrocarib St. Vincent and Grenadines Limited for 2016. If Petrocarib St. Vincent and Grenadines does not hear from your offices with a firm date of the commencement of the audit for 2016 by October the 20th, 2017, this does not preclude your offices from conducting your work in commissioning an audit of Petrocarib SVG according to the law. In other words, if you ain't doing it, we will do it, but you can still do it. The decision is taken to enable the company to function. This decision is taken to enable the company to function more effectively and efficiently, as well as make timely decisions, as you would understand. On this occasion, the Director of Audit replied. The Director of Audit replied on the 16th of October, 3 days later, saying that it's fair to read it. Dear Ms. Ferguson, I acknowledge receipt of your letter dated the 13th of October 2017 in relation to the Petrocarib SVG audit 2016. Subsequent to our meeting and receipt of documents requested from your office, The Audit Office commenced the planning phase of the audit. However, due to other ongoing audits of some statutory bodies, we have been unable to progress beyond the planning stage. As a result, a decision was taken to appoint an auditor in accordance with Section 12.3 of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Petro-Carib Special Purpose Fund Act. We have already held discussions with Mr. Reuben John of BDO for the purpose of engaging his services for the audit of St. Vincent and the Grenadines Petro-Carib Special Purpose Fund for 2016. Please be advised that the letter of appointment would be issued to the auditor before the 20th of October 2017. Well, she did write Mr. John and appointed him. And he's a good auditor. But Mr. Speaker, up to the 5th of January 2018, 2016 audits were not yet received. So, she goes again. Ms. Ferguson writes to Ms. Seeley, Director of Audit. Dear Madam, Petro-Carib St. Vincent and Grenadines 2017 audit. She addressed 2016, they said they're doing it. It's now early 2018. She said, well, let's talk about 2017. You see an efficient public servant? Mr. Speaker, and since I'm at it, I address another matter. Mr. Speaker, I caused the relevant authority to check at the Cwsa. I wasn't going to speak on this, and I'll speak a little more than I didn't intend at all, but because I have to raise this issue. The Honourable Member for West Kingstown said that, first of all, he said that we fired him. He was fired. The board at the government fired him. And hired Garth Saunders at a higher salary. I know what he said. And Mr. Speaker, you would remember that I got up and said, because he had at one stage he had said resigned, and I got up and said, the government, the Cwsa, did not fire Daniel Cummings. I made that point emphatically and I sat down. That's all I was going to say about it. But once you drag another person who is serving in the state sector, I have to speak to the matter because it would lead to opprobrium being directed at Mr. Saunders as he traverses this land. That the government got rid of Daniel Cummings and paid him a significantly higher salary. That is Garth Saunders. That's what he said it.
Those were his direct words. Those were his direct words.
Mr. Speaker, I don't want the House or the public to be misled. The facts are these, as given to me by the relevant official. Daniel Cummings was hired on contract in 2001 at a salary of $12,000 per month. With annual salary increases, his salary climbed to $12,854 per month by April 2004. Mr. Garth Saunders was hired in June 2004 at a salary of $12,000 per per month. I requested, when I saw that, I said I'd like to get the contract. And there's a contract dated the 1st of June. And in fact, not only was the salary not substantially higher than Mr. Cummings' salary, it was in fact lower than the salary that he last earned. So I just wanted to correct that. Mr. Speaker, I also want to say this, that it was said that the ULP government got a chairman who wanted to carry out all kind of three inquiries to get rid of him. Mr. Speaker, I've never spoken on this before. As a consequence of the stance that I took on the matter of the conflict between Mr. Cummings as head of CWSA and Mr. Kenneth Ford as chairman, I took the side of Mr. Cummings. Mr. Speaker, the chairman had persuaded the board at the time that there should be an investigation of Mr. Cummings and his administration. And they specifically made a reference to a matter, a delicate matter which I wouldn't talk about here. Not necessary. Mr. Speaker, I asked them to stop it. Don't do this. I said, if you want to do anything, if you think things have not gone as well as they should have gone, appoint a management audit and do it professionally, not in this snooping kind of underhand way. Then, relations between Mr. Cummings and Mr. Ford deteriorated. Mr. Cummings, Mr. Ford decided that they were going to fire Mr. Cummings. I heard so I called him in. I said, I want the assurance from you that you would not fire him. There's no basis on which you could fire him. He agreed with me that he wouldn't fire. He said he doesn't agree with me, he thinks there's a basis, but he's not going to. He wouldn't do it because I asked. He promptly went and fired Mr. Cummings. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, a short while before that, because of the frustration, Mr. Cummings resigned, and I begged him to withdraw his resignation. The board wouldn't allow him to withdraw the resignation. They say his job is at an end. And I, in turn, went to the cabinet and removed Mr. Ford as the chairman of the CWSA. And the strange thing about this, by that act, Mr. Ford decided henceforth that I would not be supported by him, and supported the very team that Mr. Cummings eventually went with. That in other words, I lost too by acting honorably. I just want to point that out. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, those are the facts. Indeed, when Mr. Ford got there, he said that he is going to not pay Mr. Cummings his pension. I say, on what basis you're not going to pay him his pension? I say, he has a legal contract. There's an agreement that he must get the pension. He said, no. So in order to placate them, former Justice Monica Joseph, we had hired her as a consultant, and I requested of her to write an opinion on this matter. And it happened that her opinion agreed with mine that Mr. Cummings should be paid his pension. You never hear me talk about any of these things. But those are the facts. Mr. Speaker.
Employment a short term or open-ended contract?
Huh?
Did he have a short term or open-ended contract, Mr.
No, his contract came to an end.
No,
And
Mr. Saunders, was it a short term or open-ended?
no, he was on contract for terms and they renewed.
Well, you see, in that case, if it was a short term, let's say 3 years, then the salary would in fact be greater because
Yes, but
means at the end of the 3 years, you would have got a gratuity.
no, but the point I'm saying.
telling you, so it means that in a sense, the salary was not 12,000. So it would be whatever the gratuity amount is.
No.
Why is that central to the conversation?
No.
I don't remember.
No.
Somebody entered at the highest
No. But
No, I'm not trying.
But
the
they-
issue of whether his salary was greater has to take into account whether a gratuitous payment was made. But I'm not
Mr. Speaker.
I'm not prolonging it, you know.